Hello and welcome to Tech Week in View on MegaWhatTV, where each week we take the biggest stories, chew them up, spit them out and tell you what we think. Well, as you can probably guess by the scenery, we're in New York and we're going to be so for the next 6 months, covering all the major stories around the world as they happen. Don't forget, we'll still be in the UK, giving you all the latest launches, etc. But for now, I'm getting rather wet. Stay tuned. So when I was a kid, it was all about Lego and Action Man and going outside, dare I say it, to, play in the mud. But it seems that the kids of today, well, they're all about technology. I mean, my 3-year-old daughter knows how to use our iPod Touch. She presses the button, she asks me to download apps. It's quite frightening. But news this week that Disney had teamed up with ASUS to launch the NetPal, a netbook for kids. Well, it just shivers down my spine because, kids are just getting connected. Now, some will say this is a good thing. I'm all for the love of gadgets. I'm all for people getting involved and connected and talking to people. But do we really want 7-year-olds sort of MSNing each other and perhaps going to the odd website, talking on social networking portals? Let's just get MySpaced and Facebooked up. All seems a bit too early for me. And it's just worrying, isn't it? So Lord Carter has finally got round to publishing his Digital Britain report, which you're not 100% aware of what that is. He's basically outlining how England, how Scotland, how Wales, how Britain can become this digital technology hub of the world, a world leader. So what was there in the report? Well, there was lots of stuff. And to be honest, the 900 odd pages, I'm not going to go through here. It was pretty dull. It was pretty boring. And as most experts believe, pretty, well, uninspiring or actually being able to achieve anything. And one of the things I thought was most interesting was that for some reason we believe, or the government believes, that we're going to be able to switch over from analog FM to digital radio in the next 6 years. Now, this follows a similar pattern with the TV, which is going to switch off in 2012. Add a couple more years and we'll be ready. The problem I foresee, however, is that at the moment, saturation of digital radios is about 25%, which is nowhere near 50%, which is nowhere near 70 or 80%. Now, you might say, well, 6 years is a pretty long time, and I've got plenty of time to go and buy a digital radio for my home. Woo, great. But what about your car? Now, most people listen to the radio in their cars, and most car radios, although you can now get digital radios as well, most car radios are analog. So, come 2015, if plans go ahead according to the report, that car radio is going to be pretty useless because you won't be able to hear anything. And that suddenly means that you haven't got to just buy a digital radio for your home, but you've got to buy one for your car. And with more cars coming up with devices to make it harder to steal stuff, and therefore it's a funny shape, all of a sudden you've got to have another thing strapped to your dashboard. And I'm not sure I really want that. So if you haven't already heard, and to be honest, we don't believe you're a proper MegaWatt listener, watcher if you haven't, Apple have just announced a new iPhone, the 3GS. Now they say it stands for speed, but to be honest, it should probably stand for saving or lack of. Why? Well, because it's bloody expensive. That's why. First of all, you actually have to pay for the phone to upgrade, which is going to be quite expensive in itself. But secondly, both in America and in the UK, tethering and MMS seem to be the two buzzwords that are causing the most headaches for users and probably Apple. Why? Well, in the UK, O2 have turned around and said that 1 pixel message equals 4 text messages. Quite expensive. If you want to tether, now that means actually connecting the phone to a laptop so you can surf the internet away from the phone. That's going to cost you a minimum of £15 extra a month, even though the company has always said that data is, well, unlimited. How does that work? So what's the difficulty is that not only is it expensive to actually use, but it's also going to be expensive to upgrade for current 3G iPhone users. Now remember, they signed an 18-month contract back in June. 12 months in, you've still got 6 months to go. And to be honest, do you really need to upgrade? I mean, you've already got the 3.0 software update, and that pretty much gives you the same functionality as the 3GS. Yes, okay, we know you get a digital compass, you get video capabilities, you get some other bits and bobs. Do you really need those? Do you really need to pay to shortchange your contract so you can get it? Some people will, and for those, it looks like they're going to be putting money, as the sign says, into the bank of Apple for some time yet. Well, that's it for this week's show. Hope you've enjoyed it. When you tune in next time for more news, reviews, tips, tricks, opinions and much more. I'm Stuart Miles. Thanks for watching.
We'll be right back.